As business ties between China and Taiwan grow stronger, many others are anticipating what lies ahead for the world's largest potential economic market. China's entry into the WTO should mean easier access for foreign companies. But some economists warn business needs to proceed with caution if it plans to compete in the mainland market. Susan Yu finds out why.
It took China 15 years to cultivate WTO, and now it hopes to reap the economic returns. China is now an official member of the global trading body. Membership carries with it the obligation to allow foreign competition in most of its markets, from agriculture to finance and industrial goods. And what ensures success is the rule of law. But corruption continues to plague the system, despite Beijing's attempts to clamp down on the problem. Some economists believe China's WTO membership will herald stronger anti-corruption measures and ultimately legal and political reforms. Others, though, are less optimistic. Dr. Pei Min-shin has been studying China's legal system and the effects of corruption for years.
I think if I were a big company, I'm not going to worry very much about the potential risks of a flawed legal system because I have political clout. If I'm GE, if I'm Boeing, if I'm 3M, the Chinese government is not going to treat me as if I were a small-town shopkeeper. However, if I own a small or medium-sized enterprise, then I should be worried because I do not have a lot of political capital behind me.
Hundreds of businesses have found themselves in commercial disputes with Chinese companies. Vague Chinese laws are open to interpretation, and that's allowed local authorities to enforce these laws at their whim.
There are about 100,000 cases filed in the Chinese courts against various government officials. About 40% of them results in some kind of correction of the abuse of power by government officials. So that's a major progress, but it's far from enough.
China's Public Security Bureau has revealed it has arrested or detained more than 260 Hong Kong and foreign businessmen. It's unclear how many are still in custody, how many have actually had their day in court, and how many cases have been reported. But with a state-controlled media, it's unlikely any of these cases will be independently investigated.
In order to get rid of the corruption in the Chinese current system, one has to open up the media. One has to allow the freedom of speech so that the people and the press can have a say in controlling government officials' behavior. Today, they do not have a say.
I don't think there's any doubt that the leadership are very aware of the shortcomings of their own media, which is one reason why I think the media has become more lively, entertaining even in some instances. And I think that they're torn between realizing that it's a problem and worrying about how much information can be handed out, if you like, how much openness there can be in terms of media coverage.
I think it will be opening up. There will be still crackdowns. There will be what we like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but the forward motion is there because the economy is changing, and the market transformation will impact on the media.
In the WTO, will open up telecommunications, banking, insurance, and the retail distribution. So that's many of the service sectors in addition to manufacturing, which is already quite open. So now I guess the broadcasting media is really the last remaining sector that will be still by and large closed, but not necessarily for protectionist reasons, it's more for political and social reasons.
Opening up the media is a particular problem for the Chinese leadership, since it sees it as a force for stability, not a watchdog to challenge authority.
Chinese leaders also understand that by joining WTO, you open a kind of Pandora's box, and there are all kinds of political and social challenges. Put it simply, getting into the WTO means you have to accept the challenges of globalization. This will mean that more state-owned enterprises will have to be closed. You have more unemployment. You have a wider gap between the rich and poor. Even the peasants are affected because the production cost of grain in China is higher than international market prices. So these are the kind of challenges facing China in the 3 to 5 years after joining the World Trade Organization.
It took Beijing more than a decade to win a place in the World Trading Body. But it might take even longer for China to persuade its people that they'll benefit from WTO membership, and to persuade the world that it will live up to its WTO obligations.